The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors. Have a question or comment for us to address on the show? Have a topic you want us to talk about? Email us at indiecomicsnetwork@gmail.com. Want your comics to arrive in pristine condition? Head over to GeminiComicSupply.com and save 10% on your next Gemini mailer order or anything in the Gemini Comic Supply store. Use coupon code RAGIN10. That's RAGIN 10.
Alright, Get in the Tub, number 1, by Mitch Rogers. Now what do? I need an artist, an editor. There's so much to do. If only there was some kind of thing or show or something that could break down from start to finish how to make a comic. I could read a book on that, but I just realized I can't read. Oh my god, who are you?
Hi, I'm a hammer with googly eyes and I'm here to tell you about Build a Comics Workshop, a show featuring artist C. Michael Lanning and writer Chad Perkins building a comic from start to finish. Join in on the discussions and learn some tips and tricks on how to make comics. It's sure to be exciting, trust me, I'm a talking hammer. Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Indie Comics Network.
Oh my god, it's people! Ah! Good morning, good morning, good morning!
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Let me just stretch and act like it's just the early morning because it's actually halfway in the afternoon for me, but who cares?
Yeah.
Hey, lovelies!
Well,
How's everyone doing?
this disembodied hands are drawing. It's like Thing from the Addams Family, a convention of us.
You might almost say, no, like there's 4 of us.
Yeah.
But you might
But you
almost
don't have
say
a
it's a coven.
disembodied hand, Mike Jimmy.
I know. Hold on. Hold on. Let me fix that. You're absolutely right. We need to fix this immediately. There.
There you go.
There you go. Okay, there you go.
I gotta learn how to do that.
There. The coven of of disembodied hands.
Well, I'm just lines on a screen, so not really a disembodied hand. So
I mean, technically me too, but yeah, this is better. People short my face.
yeah.
All right, how about we go around the room and introduce ourselves? MarV, since you came in last, who are you and where can people find you?
Hi everybody, I'm just looking at some stuff here. Yeah, you can find me here every Saturday, Instagram and Facebook on MarV Killer. And yeah, today I'm going to ink this piece that I have already penciled. I started on a couple of weeks ago on Sketchy Saturday, or was it last week? I don't remember. And there's going to be one of the pieces that I'm going to give away as a stretch goal on my campaign. That's on my comic that will start next Friday.
Sweet.
So yeah, that's going to be a giveaway for a physical backer. I still don't know which goal I'm going to make for that, but at least I already have a few goodies there. So go to my comic and check out Gabriel Gripper. So
All right.
Gonna be
Cool.
good. John, how about you?
Well, I'm John Celestri. I'm a 50-year web veteran of classic 2D animation and comic book storytelling. And I'm drawing a panel from Bloodwing Angel Chronicles. Oh, I'm not just one panel. I'm doing several today. And this is one of my favorite parts of the book, and that is the characters in the 1717 Club.
Ah,
So
yes.
there's a lot going on, and it's not just about angels, it's about the characters and demons that the angel deals with. So it's fun time.
Sweet. C, who are you?
Oh, I am C. Michael Lanning, independent artist, graphic translator. Done work for Arrow Comics on Calico Shard. And the Doghouse Kickstarter was just finished last night. We'd like to thank everybody out there who sponsored and or shared the campaign. It was successful. Excited. From what I hear in the making, there might be a Doghouse too, so we'll see.
Yeah.
And of course, here on Sketchy Saturday, and the upcoming Build a Comic workshop coming April 4th, Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. with Chad Perkins.
Awesome.
yeah.
Today, I'm working on the book with J.D. Calderon of Oswald Chronicles.
Oh, you're actually doing an Oswald with him.
No, it's not an Oswald. It's a different book, but just JD from the Oswald Chronicles.
Ah, okay. I misheard. My apologies. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Mike Jimmy de Bruin, creator of Lage Cora, CEO of Fairies and Ends. I publish half of these people, including myself. And yeah, today I'm translating Life on Korra 5, finishing it up. And then once that translation is done, I can send the volume out as proof prints to all the printers and hopefully get it all done and sent out to all the people that supported the Kickstarter in May. So I'm excited. I'm on a stretch, and we're getting there. We're slowly but surely getting there.
Nice.
So yeah, if you see gibberish on the screen, it's Dutch. I'm not a Polish.
Oh yeah. Gibberish can be in English too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I would use my imaginary alphabets, but sadly, this is an actual language.
Do you have an actual imaginary alphabet, or are you just saying kind of like you just throw
No. I have two of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay, let me.
Going off
Okay.
J.R.R. Tolkien over here.
So for Life on Korra, issues 1 and 2, let me have it load. There we go.
For
There.
gibberish, I use Pig Latin.
Yeah.
Now these are actual words. So if I change the lettering, then it actually goes into a different. But let me undo that. But yeah, like there's a ton of Easter eggs and background things, and these alphabets can actually be translated one-to-one. They are actually all the way in the back of the book as well for people that want to be nerdy and like languages. And you will be able to find all the little Easter eggs that I put in there. Come on, load. There we go. Here you go. So here's the Nata languages.
Cool.
And the Tisker. And yeah, there's a ton of it, especially in Lava Korra 1 and 2.
Cool.
And
I know I have this thing on here that you can make it, your own fonts.
yeah, exactly. Like that's what I use too.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
The problem is if you want to make more than one, you have to delete the old one if you're using the free version. But
You can make your own fonts on Clip Studio Paint. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, so you get it. It's a website.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And you download a template.
Yeah.
And with that template, you fill in all the letters like you would.
Right.
And then it reads that template as a PDF, and it turns the rectangles that you wrote in your lettering into a new alphabet.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So I could do my own hand lettering.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And then type it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that is literally what I did as well. Like, so with the fake alphabet, let me find a page that is actually heavy on translation. I think that one. Nope. Darn it. Stop sending me all the way up there. Let me see.
Dang computers.
Yeah, exactly.
I know Glenn were here. Glenn would be telling you, but see, I do all that with my pencil and paper.
Yeah, well, I like my wrist.
Oh, Glenn's over there. Probably they're recording Sunday Funnies for tomorrow already. So.
Oh, right, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, actually, I can just open the same page. So, yeah, this is literally just a copy paste. So the fake language could just be written in.
Yeah.
Right.
It's definitely handy. Very handy.
Yeah, and it's just a direct copy paste on what's on the other end. It's been a time saver.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine. I like to mess around with it, but my lettering. Hey, Don, my lettering's not fantastic.
I admit mine is neither, but it's passable, I'd say.
Yeah. I used to learn. I would do my hand letter all my comic strips back in the day.
Oh yeah.
I applaud you.
Well, that's what you had to do.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I know it's the worst.
Well, see, I got my I learned it from my dad, who was a letterer in ships, making ship plans.
Oh.
Yeah, I got that from him. That was my first introduction to inking. I mean, he was that way, as I grew up. That's what he was doing. He was working on ship plans and building plans. He worked on the Nautilus. And back then when you didn't have Xerox, so every plan had to be retraced. On these huge pieces. So that's what he. So I had the T squares, and I had a little drawing board, and I had a lettering pen, things along those lines, and then that's so that's that was it. So that was my experience with lettering. So it was like second nature to say, okay, I got to learn to do this.
Well, that's neat. Well, you did do Sparkle Dog lettering, right, Jimmy? Jimmy?
Yeah, I did. I can literally show you guys. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. Comics. There's too much in here. There we go. Sparkle Dog. Letter. Because I decided to re-letter everything. Well, they decided they needed lettering, so that's what I did.
Yeah, those really work with comics, letters.
Yeah.
They help. And I'm not going to spoil anything too much. I'm just going to go back to Laugh Cora. I'm going to spoil most of this anyway. I'm translating live.
That's all right. Chad, they still have that Kickstarter going on to be ending pretty soon, I think.
2 weeks.
When?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Sweet.
And they've already reached their goal, so the book's going to come. Regardless, you can't stop Sparkle Dog. Oh, no, the horror.
Nobody can stop Sparkle Dog.
So Rodney, I see Rodney's out there
saying hi.
Yeah, Rodney.
Rodney, who's at a show this week and next week also. He's been there. He's doing his tour, the Haslam tour.
Yeah.
So.
In the hard way.
Hey, sweetheart. Yes, it's in Dutch. All right.
So anyway, I saw a guy yesterday. I was reading. Oh, you want to? Oh, for you to show something? Go ahead.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't on the right screen yet, so I started lettering, and it changed the screen. Sorry. Whoops.
That's okay. So anyway, so this guy, and he's been a DC artist. He's done stuff for DC, but he makes a statement about how he never understood the whole. And we talked about this before. Making a clear silhouette, that it's a stupid it's a stupid tactic. He proceeds to post all these pictures and say that none of these are clear silhouettes. And I'm looking at all these pictures, and they're very clearly clear silhouettes.
Could you put up an example? Because I'm not entirely sure if I'm following.
Let's see. Okay? For instance, like John has on his screen right now, and the woman walking. If you put that into a silhouette, you can clearly read what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That is not what I want to do. I want to pull up John. Yeah.
And this is what we talked about this last week, right, John?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a clear silhouette, or even the woman that's sitting down, you have a clear silhouette of her. Now you don't have to have a clear silhouette in the sense that you have to understand the background as well as the person in it. Am I correct in saying that, John?
Right.
Okay.
Well, for example, here, the reason what I started with. Let me just get this.
Give the people at home an example.
Okay. this is what I started with. See, 8.5. I just work as thumbnails.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this way here. Then I blew them up so you could read. You can actually read the material. That's the big thing. You can understand what's going on as a silhouette, because this is the same size. I do my thumbnails now as the same size as what the comic book would be. That way, I can understand what's occurring, and then I blow it up like that, and then I'm cleaning it up on full size.
Right. Okay.
So that way, you thumbnails are totally it's everything in comic books, in animation. It's a visual medium. You need to understand and this anyway. So yeah, right. Those are silhouettes.
Well, actually, I literally just traced it, for ease's sake, and I didn't blacken the arm because it started to be suggestive, but
but even if you put it in the arm, it still has a good read. It has still feel.
Yes,
it has that feel. Like, go ahead and put that up on the big screen. I'll talk about it for a second.
Yeah,
on yours, Mike.
Yeah, no, I figured. There we go.
All right, you still have a flow and you still have a rhythm to this, and you can tell it's somebody sitting down. You can't tell what they're wearing or whatever the case is, and who knows, that could be an arm wrapped around there. Whatever the case is, and you would also get in the hair too.
Yeah, if you grab this one and let me make my pen a little bigger so it's a little easier, faster. So to just get the point across,
So what I think this guy's misunderstanding is the actual whole piece being a silhouette, and not because he posted a statue, which was somebody in a robe. And it's like, well, this is not a readable silhouette, and it's like, yes, it is. It's very much a readable silhouette. You might not tell that they're wearing a robe, or they have long hair. It could be a cloak, but it's a readable silhouette that somebody is standing there. Yeah. Which is funny because he's a fantastic artist and he has readable silhouettes, which amazes me. And I think that's what a lot of people he doesn't understand is it's not that the whole thing is in the silhouette. You still have your separation from your background and your, other characters. But it's kind of aggravating when you see, like, even that, for instance. Yeah, you can still see there's a shoulder and the head, and there's somebody there, whatever they're doing.
Yeah. And now you're following the arm and then just erase that.
Yeah, you're getting senile. Who knows?
Oop, there you go. And suddenly there's a person.
Yeah.
So your eye then goes from one silhouette to the other because you're being led.
Yeah.
You can
and that's exactly see.
That's how you're able to see what the characters are doing. You've got dialogue, but an eyeball is going into there. The eye contact here. They're going back and forth, and then coming into the screen from the right is Pixie. So anyway, yeah, their silhouettes are, but your attitudes are all there. Silhouette is attitude and just understanding what the action is.
Right. I think to discount that as it just being a ridiculous idea of art is quite it's juvenile.
What was the point there is being made?
That you don't need to worry about that.
You don't need to worry about silhouette. How do you read? What is it? Well, what is he talking about? What?
Yeah, it's just the thing. Let me see if I can't pull up.
I mean, is he talking about color forms and shapes and things of that sort, where color is the emotion, and that you're playing with shapes and forms? I mean, a cubism. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little vague.
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
Let me see if I can't find something.
I mean, what are you trying to tell, or or lead the viewer to seeing?
Yeah, that's so I said I don't think he understands when people say silhouette what that means. And hold on, I'll give you a couple minutes and I'll try to pull up a couple of the examples that were used.
Well, basic art 101 is readability, which is a point where that I don't want to go down this rabbit hole.
Are you sure?
Really
We love rabbit
don't
holes.
I would really take a red pencil onto 95% of all the covers I see in comic books.
I feel you.
Sorry, old man talk.
No. That is okay.
Yeah.
Experience speaks for itself.
All right.
If you wouldn't be able to see the mistakes of others and your own, you would not be where you are today.
I'm probably gonna get, if this guy watches it, he's gonna get mad and block me, but that's okay.
You win some, you lose some.
But you opened up about art and all right.
Yeah.
Here we go. Can you see me?
Okay, yeah.
All right. This was one of his examples of not being
let
a
me
readable
blow you up.
silhouette. Here, I got you. This is not a readable silhouette.
Well, I'm sorry. You got all these elements going on here that are very different, very silhouette-y.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's...
That's why I think he's thinking in terms of detail instead of understanding what is meant by the silhouette.
Yeah.
Because you look at here. Well, let's see if I can find something.
If you look at the left figure, you won't understand if it is in silhouette what it is. But the one on the right, you can understand. I think he's talking about that. I still don't know. I was thinking, and I just can't get a understanding on that, because if you did what Matt Jimmy did on John's art earlier, on the left, on the right, you will be able to understand what it is on the silhouette, making a silhouette. On the left, like right now, you won't be able to understand what it is. Maybe a fruit, a banana, whatever, but
literally everything in that picture is pulling your eye into the face on the right.
Yeah.
You're looking at flow. You're not looking at a silhouette
or detail, really.
You have a wood banana on the left.
Like everything about this piece is pulling you,
but even still
into the faces.
But even still, watch, and I'm gonna try to get a little more. But here, you take into here, you can still see that there's a face there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can still tell that that's a face. So this is coming out here, and you have all this here, and this is blah blah blah. But you can still tell that that's a face that's coming out there. And then, of course, here is this like boom, here, and then of course you have this here, and that straight up is your silhouette. That's your silhouette. It's your work.
Yeah.
You're working, and you're not looking at detail. You're looking at your flow and everything. You could tell that this is, and of course, that's a horrible way to outline that, but I'm being quick. That there's a hand here, an arm here, and but you could still see this comes up to a face right there. No matter if you put this here, it's like, oh, I can't tell if that's a big head, but you could tell it's a face, and you can see where it's going. Here, I'll take you down. Let's see, and then of course there was this one. Let me blow it up. That this is not a readable this silhouette, you wouldn't be able to tell what's going
on. There is no silhouette.
No.
Well, here's the deal. But I'm going to say that you come here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, fair.
And you do have a silhouette. Then, but you take her separately because you're doing your silhouettes here per person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you come in here and here, and you still have a silhouette.
Yeah,
so
it's not very readable, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about silhouettes is that you have air around in a form, and that form against the air is what distinguishes it. It enables you to read it. One thing on top of another, that may work. But here's the thing: if you want a silhouette on top of a different silhouette, the tonality of the colors have to pop so that they don't blend into each other.
And then here's the statue.
Okay.
Absolutely no readable silhouette.
Hold on. I totally beg to differ.
yeah, exactly.
See Michael Lanning's creative, please. A blank canvas.
Oh, shut up, Chad. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Chad, what do you pay him for otherwise? I mean, you pay your artist to stare at a blank canvas and go, I'm a fraud. But legit though,
I don't count the podium on this. But
yeah, no.
Yeah, and it's a readable silhouette.
Yeah.
And
honestly,
that's what I'm saying.
In
animation, because you have your squash and your stretch that you need to see.
Yeah.
That's clear. But when you're not doing something that's as animated as that, you still have to have a readable silhouette. It's not a and what's funny is you look at his stuff and he's a fantastic artist. He really is. But you could put a readable silhouette on everything he's doing. And I thought that was interesting. It's like, okay, so you have the understanding of some stuff, but you don't see it in the silhouette form, which is okay, whatever the case is. But you can't just down one technique because you don't understand it. And the silhouette technique has been passed down for how long? How many years now?
Forever.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. And you say, oh, it doesn't make sense, and then use examples that could be silhouetted. Yeah, even with the max piece, while you can back out from the max piece and you go, okay, well, that's not a readable silhouette and what I'm seeing, but every individual in that puzzle piece is, because even with the max, as round as he is with the claw, if you know the max, you know that's what that is. And Chad says you pay them to duct tape a banana to a wall.
Yes, exactly. That is
The banana
that
is a silhouette.
The banana is still a silhouette. Yes, I agree.
That's what it's saying.
Yeah, right.
I actually have nothing to say against that. That is completely legit.
You could be saying, the silliness of modern art, but that's a silhouette.
Yeah. I mean, and even if you do find art that doesn't have a quote unquote readable silhouette, chances are that it's not a very memorable piece. That's
Yeah.
honest.
Oh, Dutch, you so cute sometimes.
Man. I mean, even you, MarV, or you deal with silhouettes a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Silhouette.
Yeah, because I don't know how to work otherwise. Yeah, always with silhouette, and I try always to make sure that it's very readable, even with several elements in the same place. And that's why I use a lot the heavy blacks, as you can see in my comics. But I always try to work with that thing with the silhouette, because I don't know how to work otherwise.
Well, you know, one technique that's been out there is and I haven't used it myself, but is to, when you're looking at anatomy, like an arm on the hip or arm, you know, tuck somewhere, is to use that negative space to help you to draw the negative space and not necessarily the arm.
Yes. Sometimes what I do is, when I don't know how to draw a body part, I use heavy blacks to cover it, because I don't know exactly where the edges goes, where the form goes, and I play a lot with that, especially when I know that I'm not going to do a good job when it comes to form. I try to put a shadow there, because I don't quite know how that part goes, and that's a way that I found that can be very useful, is to camouflage the things that I don't know how to draw.
Yeah.
And sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time it works, because I'm hiding something. And I've been looking lately at noir comics.
Oh yeah.
And what fascinates me is that they cover a lot, but they know what they are doing, right? But I try to draw as much as I can a form, but if I can't do, for a reason, especially the reasons that I find difficult to draw a form, is the perspective. So if I can't get right at the perspective, I put a heavy black on it, a shadow or whatever, so that I can, yeah. And then I move the lighting to another side, or I try to make two light source. That's how I camouflage the mistakes that I make. I try to put as heavy black as I can,
Yeah.
and if I can make it lighter, the composition, I put two light sources.
Who was the artist that said, if you can't draw it, black it out? I want to say it was Ditko, not Ditko. What Ditko?
I don't know, but it works.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but it works.
But look, we have a question here. Well, first of all, Spore Hacker says, I hope I'm not too late. Of course not.
No, you're not. We barely started.
I say I just dropped by. But look, Chad Perkins has a very interesting question. So, dumb question. When inking, how does the silhouette apply?
Okay. And we're probably all going to have a different reaction to this, I think. Not entirely, like we're going to go down the same vein, but each of us will have something else to say about it, because all of our styles are so far apart.
Yeah.
For me personally, the sketching is very fluid, and I know for John it's the same, where very basic shapes, and you like that is where the silhouette comes in. Like that's all I need for a comic page.
Mhm.
Then when I go into inks and I start adding the actual detail, if the silhouette isn't correct, then the inking is going to look stiffer than I tend to be, because I didn't take my time getting the silhouette right.
Mm.
Let me pull up an example. Quarter, issue 6. So I didn't print these out yet, darn it. This is a good example.
How about put you? I got you.
Yeah.
I got you, Mike.
So you actually have the inks over the actual sketch. So when you actually look at the sketch, there is not a single feather drawn, nothing bothers. You have your basic egg shape, that is the body. You have the neck, the head, and just point of the beak, and 2 wings being crudely, just 2 basic shapes. And it's literally the same on every single piece of the page. You can even see like the background flowing through it. Like this is just the basic line that I need to follow, etc., etc. Just an egg, and an egg, and an egg. And if I don't, especially here, right? You can see like these guys are a little more detailed than normal. And there's Oxtan and Toyfon from issue 5. But yeah, like the only detail that I put in when it comes to my pencils is literally the basic shape. And that means that the silhouette, if I were to put this in Clip Studio right now and I were to black this all out, you would know exactly what this bird is doing, what it's looking at. Same with these guys, even if they have 6 limbs. And yeah, like all of them, you can exactly see what they're doing and what they are. But details only come in very late. Like that is literally all in the inks. Because if the shape isn't right when I'm penciling, the inks are not going to be right. Let's see. Because Chad has a follow-up question on this.
Yes.
So, okay. Yeah, so you want to be more tighter in the pencils, but in the inks you can be looser as long as it keeps the defined shape. Yes. That's what it comes down to, because the inks are going to feel stiffer. No matter what you do, inks feel stiff. And for example, if you look at MarV's work, and I'm actually going to pull him up here because he's literally here. He uses that stiffness to his advantage, where the powerful blacks pull the eye, where the silhouette is stiff. It is a very still point in time, and this could literally be a statue.
Yeah,
like this is a defining moment. And you can feel it because there's no flow, there's no stretch. It's literally the character doing one thing, standing there.
Yeah,
where compared to, I'm pulling myself back up here, compared to me, it's the characters need to be simple, they need to be basic, they barely move, like all of it is fluent, because that's what I need them to be. And having seen more of MarV's work, he still holds that stiffness within the frame, but because he uses a negative space so correctly, and I don't have any other way to say it. A lot of his action frames still feel very powerful, even though his work is very stiff.
Yeah.
Did I just ramble for too long? And
No,
did I
that's
just
actually
completely-
No.
Well, listen to because I'm not as familiar with inking either, but Sport Hacker did ask you an interesting question,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
why
Okay.
do inks always feel stiff?
The reason inks feel stiff is because it is a solid line. If you take pencils of any kinds digitally, you will often find that they have a very soft lining. You know, they're soft, they're malleable, they're easy, like they're easy on the eye. They don't have a clear start and finish, especially when you have a character that you see the basic anatomy of, and then the clothing, and then the details on the face, and you see all those layers in the sketch, right? And let's be honest, we have the perfect example right here with John. Like, his work is very soft, and John, would you be so kind to pull up your storyboard again?
Okay.
Because that is the perfect example, right? You can see that the red is where he just went in, he got the silhouette down. This is what it needs to look like. This is what needs to happen right here.
We got here.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just basic shapes, all of them. You know exactly what they're doing. It's the silhouette. But you also have your layer on top with what movement does the clothing make? How does this scanty little shirt fit around those boobs? Because dear Lord, they are pushing it up.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. Like, all of these things slowly mold themselves into those details because you got layer upon layer upon layer, where inks is the result. It's A to B. You know exactly what is on that paper. There is no implied texture. There's no softness to it.
Well, there's a rough when you're talking about silhouette, flow and capturing. There is a difference between, and there are two different ways of looking at it. When you're doing a drawing, you are either thinking that it is a posed drawing,
Yeah.
okay, in which you're trying to capture something as a tableau, okay, or you are drawing it as let's say animation really is you're trying to capture the essence of what is happening right at that moment in time. And that's what animation is different from posing comic books or posing statues. Animation is, there are things where you're saying, okay, we got to keep moving. And that's what is occurring because you're going from point A. Every drawing in animation is coming from somewhere and going to someplace else, even if it's at rest. Okay, and that's what occurs with when you're drawing a plasticity. Is it malleable? Does it feel like it's just stopped, not frozen, but you have captured at that point? Let me see. I don't know if I can pull up a Snuffy cycle. Can I do that?
Yeah. I mean,
I can
I don't care.
a video file. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. No. That should be fine.
Okay. Let me see if I can do that. All right.
In the meantime, I'm showing off, the flow of what is actually happening when things are moving.
Let's see here. We got that. Do I have a snuffy? Where's my run cycle?
You're killing it, Mike.
Okay.
Wow.
Let's see here. This is just 1 second here. Let's see if this works. It's too short. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, I can't do it.
Okay.
I'm not going to do. I'm not going to put in Michael's hoochie coochie dance
Fair enough.
because it's Saturday morning.
Exactly. Like, guys,
A different
That's not-
Saturday morning
exactly.
cartoon.
Yeah, there's a different. Yes, very different. That's just,
But
that's
yeah,
just
like
the way, life is just like that. You know, life on Korra is different from life in Michael's world.
yeah,
Oh, geez, the world is can be much funnier.
it should be much funnier.
Yeah, it should be. That's true.
Talk about funny. I just read something earlier this morning about a Florida principal resigned after a parent complained because in class they showed David, the statue David, and she complained that they were showing pornography to the kids.
Oh boy.
Oh, my
Really?
God.
And so I'm wondering, the principal's like, yeah, fuck it.
That's
No.
nuts.
You know what?
No,
I can't do this anymore. You idiots.
no, I'm out. I'm out.
I just can't.
That's really that's done. Jeez.
It's like, understand the context. Damn. Gosh, but nowadays I see people pushing it back against context too. So it's insane.
fair.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's insane. Somebody said something. Well, you have to take this into context, and they're like, "Oh, you can't justify it by the context." Whoa, whoa, whoa.
How can you not justify something by context?
I don't remember what that was, but it was like, no.
What?
If I was the principal, yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
It's more
TikTok
accurate.
is doing that to the brain. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think TikTok is having a huge problem. Right.
But not to get into that, I do know, like, I'm not, I would never call myself an inker, even though I'd ink my own stuff. But one thing that I have seen people do is they'll detail the faces of whatever they're working on, and then they'll just work the outlines first, and then come in and move into.
Well, that's the thing. Like you want to start with the big picture. You want to put in as little detail at first. You don't want your time to be wasted.
Right.
And a lot of people tend, especially younger artists, and yes, we're going to call out the younger artists. Look, I'm 29. I'm not even 30 yet. I'm still a young artist compared to these guys. But
I'm a kid.
I've been doing this for a good few years, so shut up. Look, younger artists tend to, and I was at fault on this one too, just straight into a detail. I want this specific thing to be as specific as possible, and then the rest afterwards was kind of a half job because I just didn't feel like continuing. Because we all do that. You want to start with a quiet and like an easy base. Draw a circle, get your egg shapes in there, and get your rectangles and your basics, and work your way up from there. And as long as you do that, the longer, because if you're going to put effort into something, you want to start with as little effort at first and work your way up. If you don't, you start getting into debt to that piece where you put so much effort into this one little specific thing, and you finish your sketch and it looks amazing and you're super proud of yourself, and then you put your first inking line down and you're like, oh my god, this is the worst thing I've ever done in my life. Because we've all done that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You want to build on top of your previous layer every single point of the way. Like, if you start with pencils, like, yeah, you can make detailed pencils. Like, they can make your life easier as you go. But choose your battles. You know?
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Right there.
Like, and okay, let's pull up C for this one.
No.
Yes. No, exactly. Because your main detail is on bushes, it's on the trucks, and already, like, the thing that you focused on most here is getting the perspective right.
Right, yeah.
The rest of it, it's going to flow as long as you have that set up. So because you got your perspective in order, whatever you're going to put in, if it doesn't fit the perspective, it's not going to look right and you will be able to change it. That is taking this extra 5 minutes at first, getting the perspective ready, and afterwards getting afterwards putting in the details. Yeah. That car did not start as a car. I can tell you that much. No. It started as either a 3D model, which I don't care if you use it. By all means, do it. There we go. Yeah, see? Layers upon layers upon layers. This is a good thing.
That's how it started. Let's see.
Yeah, it started as a box.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, and it should. Like, that is taking your time at first to know exactly where things need to go.
That's the hard part.
Huh?
That's the hard part. The hard.
Yes.
Yes.
The worst is to figure it out how things goes and how everything connects with each other without having a disconnection. Something in the middle or even in the background, changing everything because that little point there is just not quite at the place that it should be.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, sometimes that kind of mistake can change for the worse.
Well, here's the thing. I agree. It can look awful and it can really ruin a piece. On the other hand, if it's just one thing or two things, you can fix those. And often you're only an inch off. Like that's the thing too. A lot. You improving as a creator means that you are suddenly seeing that the thing you were doing wrong was literally, moving this one thing half an inch on the screen.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's all you needed to do. But that takes practice. You don't see those things until you've done them.
Yeah.
So yes, perspective is hard. It takes a different kind of mindset to make proper perspectives. So by all means, use your perspective tools. They're useful. But if they don't work out, they don't work out. But you can use that slanted perspective to your advantage too. If you're drawing something gory and epic, it helps to just completely pull that perspective apart.
Right. You don't want to be too rigid, even when it comes to perspective, because in real life, not everything goes to one vantage point. That's just not how that works.
No.
Exactly.
Your eyeballs are, look, your eyes are not in HD actually.
No.
Right.
No, they're not. Exactly.
That's why HD hurts me. I really have a problem with the hyper
sharpness.
Hyper realism.
Sharpness of it.
Yeah. there is something to be said about hyperrealism and making something as close to life as possible. Is it a good skill to have as an artist? Yes. Do you need it? Fuck no.
Well, it depends on the
No,
style that you're using, what you want to do with it.
Exactly, but that's the thing. I
Yeah.
am actually pretty good at making very realistic portraits of people. Haven't done one in the last bloody 8 years or so. I do not care for them. But it's a good skill to have because I understand faces because of them.
Right.
I understand what makes them work. The same with perspective. I know how to draw 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point perspective. I have, I know how to draw technically. Will I ever use it properly? No, I'm making comics, so I don't have to. But it's a good skill to have.
Yeah.
And there's like, you can combine your skills as you get them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we could get real hung up on, like I'm getting hung up on this, but you can get real hung up on trying to do things very properly, or especially on a panel that somebody's going to spend 5 seconds on before they move on to the next one.
Uh-oh, John is pulling up something.
Okay, take a look at perspective.
Yeah. No.
I'm playing with this is a street scene. It's not perfect, but the thing is, you're looking down and you're looking in perspective that way. There's a subtle thing that I'm trying to do here.
Yeah.
And you've got to get the feeling of clutter, but the important part here is the silhouette of the characters inside looking out of a window.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to redline this real quick for people to understand, because this is very interesting to a lot of creators, a lot of people, I think. And Jared, thank you so much. We all appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's see. And you got a compliment, John. You pulled it off great, though.
Oh,
you know what you're looking at, and the point comes across. Exactly.
That's all we need. We don't need perfect stuff. I mean, I'm trying to get perspective in terms of, first off, it's the elements are they've been put together. These buildings, the fire escapes, the sidewalks, they are chiseled by hand almost.
Yeah.
And those things are going to be put together in a way that is not going to be perfect, straight lines, which is one of the things that I'm trying to, try to get across from with this and that, and that is, you do have a perspective that's a vanishing point, but the vanishing point is so far away from you that you can't. There's no exactness to how these various elements have been put together.
Right.
I've got a 3 point here going on that way, but then also I'm going down.
Yeah. So technically, this would be a 2 point perspective, right? Because you have your 1 point going like so.
Yeah.
This way. There we go. And then you have your other point going like that.
Yeah.
It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be.
No. But it's just to get an idea of what it is, because basically these pieces were not put together to have perfect perspective. The idea is the impression.
Yes.
And how long do you think somebody's going to be looking at this panel other than to say, "Wow, that's they're in a broken down New York, Brooklyn urban environment."
Yeah, exactly. It gets across what it should get across.
That's all.
That's right.
That's all that we're really looking at.
That's right. That it's so awesome. It makes me feel small. Thanks, Joe.
And that's basically it. I spent a lot of time, constructing it and working with it and what have you, and so okay, I spent a fair amount of time on it, but this is a comic book for people to go back and look at again and again and again.
Right. Yeah. That's
the whole idea, is to say, I like to delve back into that environment, and it has to be believable.
Right.
There we go. Here's some very old work.
And here's where each one of these bricks are, hand drawn.
Yeah.
And so therefore, if I used, straight lines and did all that kind of stuff to do that, it wouldn't have the same kind of feeling.
Exactly.
It is very underground 1960s hand drawn, R. Crumb, Fabulous Furry, Freak Brothers, Wonder Warthog. That it's underground feel.
Somebody needs to sit there and take a list of everything you just said, John, so they can leap into some independent comics.
Well, yeah, if you lived through it, you understood what it is. Now you have to go back historically and see what it really was.
So, good bad example. Don't be me from 3 years ago. Like, this is all too stiff.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, the perspective is perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah. That's the problem, is it's too spot on.
Yeah.
That's the issue. Yeah.
Just
break up some lines, man. Break up some lines.
Exactly. Break them up. Get them proper.
Yeah. Basically, when you're coloring, here's the thing: is that, and this is what you go from in terms of the old school of animation, where you drew it to be Xeroxed and hand painted on the back.
Yeah.
The new school of computer animation, even with coloring, you have to enclose the line, the actual lines from point to point to encase the color. You still have to do a certain amount of that. Otherwise, you have to establish, all this, set up the coloring, saying, okay, it will connect lines. But it still does not, and that's where it is, that the drawing is not allowed to be loose as it used to be.
Right.
Because, you're being told, well, the computer program can't color everything correctly. It'll be bleeding out, or it won't connect. I have a lot of points where I have to go in and put not a line, but I need to go in and call for closing the gap without a line. And that is a pain in the ass to do. And so what I've done is worked the silhouettes so that I'm encasing the line, but it's also an old school way of comic book work where they they enclose the shapes all the time. Same way it goes back to the coloring styling of Winsor McKay.
Yeah.
He encased the shapes with a thicker line. Same way Maurice Sendak would do in certain ways, with his coloring.
Oh yeah.
So you use the limitations to your advantage. So now we have silhouettes that are readily solidified.
Mhm.
As he spoke with authority.
Putting the hammer down.
Well, no, but you said you more Sidnick. You look at where the wild things are.
Yeah.
And the way he does the colors on that, it's not outlined in the traditional sense, but you still get the sense of the whole world.
Yeah.
In it, yeah. At least that's what I think of when you say the names. I think is what I think of. Is,
well, the first thing for me was in the night kitchen, where he really follows Winsor McKay, because he's doing what is it? What was it? Slumberland. What's his name? Oh, anyway.
Yeah, cars are hard to draw. I'd say that. I think that's what happens with a lot of us. We get so technical on something, and we never get to, like, for instance, I see many times where, like, drawing a perspective on a vehicle and they have it very rigid and looks like this, and they want to do technical drawing on it. But sometimes the perspective doesn't line up accurately on things, and it looks better that way. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't like cars. I hate cars, but yet I did a full season of layouts for Turbo Team.
Yeah.
Just, oh my gosh! No, it's not that I even mind cars. I think what's the problem with cars, organic stuff's easier to draw to me, I guess. Like, trees or whatever. But when you come down to those rigid lines and things like that and forms, it's not as easy, I guess.
Well,
like you draw a face. Go ahead.
As I said, cars and boys. I mean, when the character, the teenage boy changed into a car, that whatever Corvette or whatever it was, I always kept thinking of, where's the stick shift? What where was that built? Where did what did that turn into?
Yeah, that
Saturday morning cartoons. I feel safe being able to talk about it because it was a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah, these are questions that I'm sure even the kids had. Chad says, "Oh, you know where the stick shift was." Oh my gosh!
That stick shift is what drives all teenage boys.
Ah! That's why he was always smiling.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy.
So in the terms of tech, go ahead, MarV.
So sorry. It's not about the. We were talking about old cartoons. They're going to make a continuation of the Flintstones with the kids.
Really?
Yeah. The same people who did Velma.
Really?
Yeah. So the kids now they are teens. So so it will be around their adventures.
No, they did. They did a
Of
continuation of the Flintstones way back when Pebbles and Baby got married. I'm cool with that one. So,
Oh my lord.
I'm fine with that. But John, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
All the years that you've been drawing, how much now is instinct versus your technical thoughts? Now
Yeah, you're talking about how there is, you always have to be technical. You have to think about it, but once again, it's like a muscle. You begin starting to think, okay, I got to do this, but I've got to be careful of this and what's that, and I still have a point where I go, I really don't want to do this. It's kind of like, do I have to? Yeah, I have to. And so, but in terms of instinct, it's kind of like you train yourself so that you don't have to think about it. It's muscle memory. Give me an example. Give me a question that you want me to answer. Like, what particular?
Okay. Well, let's say you have a panel, all right, but and you're flowing you have your rhythm goes through. How much you put into thinking about how that rhythm's going to go versus that it just comes naturally to you?
Oh, every panel is a struggle. Because I'm trying to make it different from what I've done before.
Yes. Okay.
But what has come before has enabled me to see the problems that I have to overcome. So I have answers to that. Something as simple as this page, this combination page here. Okay, it's if you notice, it's 4 levels.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I knew that I had to set up, where the flow is going on here, and then once again, into there, and then I'm thinking, okay, how do I get into the storytelling aspect of things? Well, there's Cherry here is the character who's going to be explaining to Pixie the background as to why a bet is being made. Okay. So we start talking here. Okay. And she becomes, it's in essence, she's relaying a flashback. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, okay, flashback, you can't use this, solid, panels, it's the bubbles, it's like it's talking in the past in some way to shape. So you have here is she starts talking and she becomes the narrator. So she's an invisible narrator there, that sort of sets the scene. And then now we have dialogue. I say, okay, what's going on here with the characters? And what it is there's description of this kid is going to be handled in a very bad way. And so you start leading into this and you focus on here, and then you've got the character who's going to be saving this kid walking in here. So what I've got is dialogue, a setup, and then I start playing around with the action, of him slamming away and with a baseball bat and taking care of the kid, getting him safe. And so we also have a setup here where we now have, there's your baseball bat. I am thinking in terms of silhouette all the time and storytelling, but where am I placing the camera? A lot of it is not just instinct, it's just knowledge. And what looks like instinct, I'm not thinking, I'm just placing, but I'm playing with it. I'm always thinking, for example, here, I've set up now is this here is we've had the dialogue and they're going back and forth, and then I now am setting up. Here's the voiceover, the narrator coming back in and setting up the positioning of this the character is being attracted to this character, and setting it up so that the eye follows. Again, it's all instinct, but this is, again, there's a lot of playing with it. And I mean, this is a day's work for me.
I can imagine that, yeah.
It's also the dialogue. I'm thinking, okay, how do I make it everything, the dialogue, the whole narration is very conversational. And and so that's instinct is, I knew that I had to tell it in one page. And so how do you do that? Well, you make it smaller. You use 4. I've done basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 panels, but I don't make them look like 8 panels.
Okay, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So and then also get action. What I wanted to say was, how does this character, Elmer, this is the character here, how does he save, Snake Eyes? Well, baseball bat. It's street game. Slam. You do 2 hits with 1 baseball bat, and you can do that very easily.
Yeah.
And then you set it up that he's hitting up, and then brings it back down here. Your focus is, his power is right here with the baseball bat, and they're, cowering, but he still has the baseball bat and is part of his power. There is so much that I wanted to get across in this setup, because it then gets set up for another 2 pages where I used do you remember the song Love Potion Number 9?
Oh, yes. I was just thinking it the other day.
Yeah, okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Something went wrong.
Something went wrong. Okay. What happens is, right after this panel here, we now go. That's okay. So now we go into a conversation again, 8 panels, and it's basically about the story of this young kid, the young girl who really had the hots for Elmer, but he couldn't care less about it, and so then she winds up having Love Potion Number 9 because it's her aunt, and I use all the words where they come together, and this is the story of this. So I worked really hard on these panels to make it so that you use the words in a conversational tone, develop the personalities, make it funny, but yet, not corny. Make it so that you can understand the story and what the bet is all about. So anyway, this is some of the fun stuff I get to do with this comic, because it's not just about. This is more like a Will Eisner spirit story than it is an action adventure, comic.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry for boring you with this here.
No, that's
No. You did not bore us.
It just goes to show you how much work goes into these. It's not.
Yeah.
You can't do this whole fly by night thing if you want it to look good or if you want it to, read well.
I for me, it's all about creating a comic that I would want to read.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Chad Perkins was saying, why is the stick shift getting sticky? Oh,
God.
I was ignoring those comments.
You know what? It's because of I've got so many different ways to say that.
Saturday morning.
Sometimes you've got to change the oil, and
change the oil. All right now.
Sometimes those palms just get sweaty.
Yeah, that's right.
And it just rubs against that leather. It doesn't work. Oh dear. I think at that note we should go around the room and say where people can find us because we're running up to the 90-minute mark.
Yep.
We're going hard.
All right.
Well, MarV, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me next week here on Sketchy Saturday, as always. Also, I will have my own show on my channel called the Simcast to the Cave.
Sweet.
I'll be updating my StreamYard. I don't know how to work that, but I'll figure it out. And I'll have Jeff Lafferty on the first show that I want to make. Hopefully, I'll do it soon. And it's going to be great. And also, next week on Friday, you can check out the launch of Gabriel Reaper of Souls on My Comic. And Instagram, Facebook, not quite Facebook because I try not to go there as often as I used to because it's taking me a lot of time to be there. I'd rather be on Instagram. So I try to make time for myself and my stuff, my work. So Instagram and Facebook, MarV Killer, and been a great show today. Learned a lot. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, great. John, how about you?
Well, you can find me on Sketchy Saturdays here. If you want to see more about what I'm doing, go to my webpage, johncelestrycomics.square.site. Sign up, and you'll get a 24-page PDF of the various comics that I do. Bloodwing Angel, Snuffy and Zoe, and also Mega Moose. So you get samples of that. But you also that's my place before I start doing another Kickstarter. Right now, comic books, copies, Boba Fett drawings, all that. Take a look at it. Anyway, and also on Tuesdays I'm doing master classes on comics. I don't call it. It was called The Devil's in the Details, but I think that the algorithms don't like that name. So I'm just master class John Celestri.
Run by a former Florida principal.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. See, how about you?
As always, you can check out my Linktree /C Michael Lanning. Any work that I've done, Calico Shards over there on evercomics.
Uh-oh.
Okay, what can you hear me now?
You're kind of breaking up.
Yeah. How about I go and then we can try again afterwards. I am Mike Jimmy de Bruin, creator of Live on Quora and CEO of Fairies and Ends. You can find all of the books that I publish over on fairiesandends.com and everything else on our social media on Linktree /Fairies and Ends. And Next week, I will be at another live show where actually I will be joined by the Sport Hacker as well, because he's a Dutch person too, and he just happens to go to the same convention. I'm looking forward to it. Sadly, it means I'll have to miss another Sketchy Saturday because, God, I love these. But yeah, other than that, on Thursdays, I am available on Hung Animation at 1 p.m. Eastern, making an animated pilot for my series La Concora. And yeah, that's about it. Okay, try again.
Right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, much better.
All right, just check out my Linktree / C Michael Lanning. Thank you.
All right, that's it. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Okay.